Hello, this is Holland Timmins, also known as the Connoisseur, and I, like many people, am still waiting for the perfect Superman movie. Now, we've had Superman movies before. We've had Superman with Christopher Reeve by Richard Donner. Now, this is the original Superman movie, and while it has a really good Superman and holds true to what Superman stands for, it's just cheesy and corny nowadays. It's not contemporary. Whereas with the contemporary Superman, with Henry Cavill, whatever, yeah, he's a good Superman. Well, he plays a good Superman, but the story itself does not hold true to the ideals that Superman is held to. It just isn't. I enjoy it though. So the truth is, where can we find a contemporary Superman movie that holds true to the ideals? Can't Warner Brothers just make one? And they have, in the form of The Iron Giant. This is a film released in 1999. It's directed by Brad Bird. He directed a bunch of The Simpsons episodes before making this movie, and he went on to direct The Incredibles, and is possibly doing The Incredibles 2 because Pixar needs the money. Of course, we all know that. Pixar always needs the money. Anyway, The Iron Giant. It's the tale of a iron giant, a mechanical robot that falls from the sky and ends up in a small Maine town found by a boy by the name of Hogarth Hughes. The giant has amnesia, and Hogarth Hughes manages to befriend it, where they have many intelligent discussions between a robot and a boy about the nature of death, guns and weapons, and the harm they cause, and just about how people aren't ready for something as magnificent as a giant robot. And there's this paranoid government agent that's investigating the whole matter. There's this funny moment where he's at Hogarth's door and he demands to be introduced to Hogarth's mom, and as soon as she walks up, he looks at her chest and is like, hello, and then he looks at her face. I didn't notice that earlier, but I thought it was funny. This junkyard manager's place where he turns junk into art. His name's Dean, and he befriends Hogarth earlier in the film. And Hogarth realizes since the Iron Giant eats metal, he's got to stay somewhere, so they take him to Dean's junkyard to eat. And Hogarth tries to convince Dean to let the robot stay in a really funny sequence. Just a lot of funny sequences abound in this film. I swear, Dean is the only one in the entire town who smokes pot. You know he does. Dean has some really good words of wisdom for Hogarth and for every viewer of this movie. Who cares what anybody thinks of you? You are who you choose to be. When the military attacks, and you know it eventually does, it's actually to protect the town from something they don't understand. Moment when the giant thought Hogarth was dead from the military attack, he turned into this weaponized monster as what he was originally meant to be. But Hogarth reappears completely alive and puts himself between him and the path of the Iron Giant's destruction. He says, listen, you could obliterate me, but I know you're better than that. You are who you choose to be, now choose. But once they realize that it's not a danger, they stop attacking. And a rogue government agent launches the nuclear weapon at the main town. And when the nuclear warhead is descending onto the town, about to obliterate them all, the Iron Giant chooses what he wants to be. Which is not a gun, but rather he chooses to be Superman. And it's a really well done movie. It's like what he chooses to be, he says, Superman. Now that's a good Superman movie. It's relevant, um, it's updated, it's got good writing, it's all about Superman and what he stands for. And the Iron Giant respects that as a fellow traveler. But if you want something that's good, that's relevant, well written, and everything that Superman stands for, there's only one movie. That's The Iron Giant. The best Superman movie ever made. Well, that's enough talking about superheroes for one day. And giant robots. Actually, I'd put the Iron Giant above the Transformers movies in terms of quality. I really would. It's just that well done. What I like about the Iron Giant is there's no songs in it either. It's not a musical. It's just an animated film about a kid and his giant robot friend who happens to be a huge Superman fan.